Whenever you are writing, does it just come suddenly in a thought, or do you think of the characters first or the plot first, or do you see a picture? How does it work for you?
It depends on the book. Like in Since You've Been Gone, it was really sort of about like a piece of the plot, which is a girl disappears and leaves her best friend a list of 13 sort of challenges to do over the summer. And so that was sort of where it started, and then from there I sort of built out the characters. My new book, The Unexpected Everything, which comes out in May, it was very much about the character. Like it started with the character. I was thinking about like a certain type of girl and wanting to tell her story.
But what can you tell us about this book besides that?
The Unexpected Everything is a story about a girl named Andy who has always planned everything. Like she's always like had everything under control. Like she has her whole plan for the summer all set. And her dad is a pretty prominent congressman. And when he's involved in a scandal, suddenly all her plans fall apart. Like she loses her prestigious internship. She ends up having to walk dogs. That's like the only job she can find. But along the way, she meets a boy named Clark, and she spends time with her friends and sort of begins to realize that maybe this summer that was the last thing she wanted might be this like really exciting, unexpected adventure. All my books take place in the same fictional town in Connecticut, and so you can definitely begin to see other characters from other books popping up and like little cameos and little Easter eggs. So it was really fun. Like a lot of people ask me like, what happened with these people, and are these people still friends, and what happened with their relationship? And so if you're new to the book, it won't distract you, I hope, but if you've read the other books, you'll be like, oh my gosh, look, there it is. So that's a lot of fun. I feel like people were always getting mad at me because they were like, why do your characters get together on the last page? Like I want to know what happens to them. So I really wanted to show like a relationship taking place over the course of the summer. So that was fun to write about. It was different. I think if you like contemporary realistic, like Sarah Dessen or Jenny Han, Rainbow Rowell or John Green, like it takes place during a summer. There's friendship and family stuff and romance stuff. And so it's all sort of all mixed in together.
If somebody maybe wants to be a writer or take their career to the next level or even just get better at writing for school, what suggestions do you have?
I feel like the best thing you can do, I think a lot of times people think that writing is like, it comes to you all in one and you write this amazing book and then that gets published. And it's really a skill. It's like playing basketball or riding a bike or cooking. Like you get better at it the more you practice it. And so I would just say like, don't expect it to be perfect. Like work at it, like write a lot and you get better at it the more you write. I feel like you can see that like generally people's first books are not as good as their like fifth book just because you learn. And so I would say don't be frustrated with yourself if it doesn't seem like as good as what's being published, because also books that are published go through so many drafts. They have editors, they have copy editors. Like it's a really long process. Like nobody's first draft is what you read in a bookstore.
How do you take it from your draft that you write to getting published and having everyone else read your book?
It's really odd. I feel like you have to pretend it's never going to. Like I feel like there was like a really funny moment when my first book was out, like the first time I saw it in the bookstore. I like went up to it in the bookstore and then realized like I can't take it with me or they're gonna like arrest me. Like this moment of like, oh, it's not mine anymore. Like, but I think you can't like think about that. Like I need to sort of like write pretending it's just like me and my computer and like no one will ever see this. Because if I think about the fact that like people are gonna read it and people might have opinions about it, like you have to shut all that out.
When did you realize you wanted to be an author?
I realized it kind of late. I feel like a lot of my friends who are writers, and I hear a lot of writers be like, I knew since I was 5 years old, and I didn't. But like when I was little, my mother was always like, oh, you're gonna be a writer. And so the only bad part about my job is that like its very existence proves my mother right on a daily basis. I was in college, I got a job at a bookstore and started reading a lot of YA literature and just loved it. So I really kind of got into it at the very end of college. So I feel like you don't need to know from when you're like 5 years old. Like you can find writing at any time. And that was sort of like from then on, that was my goal.